What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Power Platform TV. Today we're going to talk about Power Pages. So Power Pages were just announced today by Charles Lamanna, and basically this is just ahead of the Microsoft Build conference. This announcement, Power Pages are basically the evolution of Power Apps portals. Okay, so Power Apps portals have been around for a while. They've been part of the Power Platform, and what Microsoft's done is they've taken Power Apps portals. They've created this new product from it called Power Pages. So now it's the fifth product in the Power Platform, and it's basically the core of it is the same as portals, but it has a lot more of a intuitive redesign, and everything kind of makes a bit more sense when you're building out pages through this application. Okay, so today what I want to do is do a little first look and see kind of what Power Pages looks like. And as I said, this is very new. It was announced today, but yeah, we can go through this and see, kind of compare what Power Apps portals looks like, and Power Pages looks like, and you'll get an idea for these new features that Microsoft is actually bringing out into this new tool. So we can see here, this is the announcement. Basically, this is Charles Lamanna. He's basically saying that this is the fifth product in the Power Platform family. And if we scroll down a little bit here, there's a lot of marketing stuff here, but there's some good things here. For example, we have they're talking about the Design Studio, and we're going to take a look at at what that looks like side by side with the old Power Apps portals. You can see they've just done a lot of really nice work with it. Template hubs here for hosting full feature websites with demo data. That's an interesting one. And then, of course, they have the Learn Hub in there, right? So Microsoft's documentation that can basically help developers and low-code people to build out these sites quickly. And of course, the pages are built into the Microsoft Dataverse, and it runs on Azure. And then, of course, there's a Visual Studio Code tie-in here for building advanced capabilities. So if you're more pro code versus low code, you can get into JavaScript, Liquid templates, code components, web APIs, etc. So a lot of the things that you were probably doing as a developer in the Power Apps portals, this is being surfaced in Pages as well. So let's hop over to the documentation real quick. Basically, this is the What is Power Pages documentation. If I just scroll down a little bit here, just to kind of see what the documentation side is displaying. And we can see here it says, Power Pages is an evolution of Power Apps portals, and the new features introduced by Power Pages, such as the new Design Studio and templates, are in preview for users to try and provide feedback. But we'll be able to take a look at those and see what they look like. So there's a lot of good stuff here in this documentation. If you go into the Power Apps Pages capabilities, for example, as well, then it goes into this whole experience here and creating a site and using the Design Studio. So rather than kind of looking at this, what I want to do is go through this. We'll do this together now. And if you hit this URL, the make.powerpages.microsoft.com, you'll be able to create a site from here. And you can see here I already have two sites set up. The first one is a Power Pages site that I had just created. And then this other one here is a Power Apps portal site that I had previously created. So we could see already, like if I were to click on this edit button here, it says that this site can't be edited here. You need to use the old Power Apps portals to go and edit those existing sites. Okay, so I think stay tuned to see what happens with those older sites that were created the old way with portals. But basically, at the moment, if I try to do that, it's not going to let me do it. And with the new site, if I could click on any of these, but what I want to do firstly is just go and create a new site so we can go through the process of what this looks like, because we'll see a lot of these new features surfacing when you actually go into the new site. So if I'm gonna click Create New Site here, And straight away, it's asking here, it says, choose a template to see design details and the features it includes. So these are the templates that we can apply to these pages. So these out-of-the-box templates, and we can see this is the default design template here. And if I scroll down a little bit, we have the schedule meetings with a financial institution. We have after-school program registration, right? Building permit application portal, new employee onboarding checklist. So, yeah, different templates that we can apply to the page that we are building. Okay. If I click on each of these tabs here, it's just filtering out based on the tags of what these sites do. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the default template here, and if I click on it, actually, it just gives a little bit more information, and it talks about the core elements as well. So some of the pages that are going to be created, some of the functionality that automatically comes with this, right? And if I click down here on mobile, we see that there is the mobile view of this. And when we get into the studio, we're going to see that there's some interesting mobile capabilities as well. So I'm going to click Choose Template here, and then we get to give the site a name, and we get the address. So one of the interesting things is that the URL here is still powerappsportals.com. Looks like we can't change that there. Obviously, you can provide a custom domain name still, but yeah, the extension there is still powerappsportals.com. It's not powerappspages.com. Just something that's kind of interesting. So we're going to leave these as the defaults. That's fine for now. If we click on Show Details, it just has the site language. So I'm going to click Done here, and now it's going to go off and set up the site. And this is going to take a few minutes, so we'll let that cook, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. And I just want to show you guys, if I log in as a user for the first time to the Power Apps Pages portal, I get presented with this page. And it's basically saying, welcome. I'm just going to ask you a few questions before we get started. And that's going to help to basically customize the experience so we know who you are. So I'm going to click on Get Started here, and we'll see what it asks us. And here it says, do you have experience creating websites, right? So this is basically saying, kind of trying to figure out, are you a low code or a pro code type of a person, right? Are you a citizen developer? Are you someone who really gets deep into coding? I think that's where this is going. I don't know 100%, but it looks like based on these questions, that's what it's trying to get to, right? So the options here, it says, no, I've never built one before. Yes, I've created one before. Yes, I build them professionally, right? So kind of makes sense that this is kind of where it's leading us. And I'm going to click yes, I build them professionally. And let's take a look at this one. Because actually the previous profile I was in, I had selected the first option. So now it says here, choose a template to see design details. And so now it's basically saying it's guiding us through the create a site process, right? So I'm just going to click on this one, schedule meetings, and choose this template. And then we have this scheduling site here, and same thing as before. It's just basically creating an environment. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click done here. And so for this particular user, Alan, he's just going to have this this environment set up. So just wanted to show you that first page, because it's kind of interesting how it's asking those questions up front. And, perhaps that'll play into the whole experience that's presented to us from a design point of view. All right, so back onto our original site setup here. So we're still waiting for the site to get set up. It says getting your site ready. And what we can do now is let's go ahead and take a look at the old Power Apps portals. And so if I go to just the Power Apps Maker portal where we used to do stuff for the Power Apps portals, let's take a look and see what this looks like. So if I click on apps, we have two portal apps that we can see here are basically created or being created. So the first one is or actually we have three here, sorry. So the Contoso one, this is an original Power Apps portal app that I created. So if I were to go here and just click on this and click edit, right? Then that takes us to the familiar Design Studio, we can go off and build our apps in the studio, right? Now, if I click the back button here, and let's go back to the back to where I was, and let's go back here, and then if this one here, Site One, is one of the new Power Apps pages that I created. So if I click on these three dots here and click Edit, we can see here it says this site can't be edited here, and it says that we need to use the Power Apps pages, the Power Pages preview, right? And then it says go to Power Pages, and that's going to take us back basically over to here to do our editing, right? So it is separated out still. We'll see what happens in the future, right? And while this is loading, if we take a look at the left-hand side here, this navigation, right? So what they've done is they've added a templates area and the learn area. And if we click on templates, basically this is the templates that we saw earlier when we were creating our site. So basically, if you want to come in here and take a look at these templates, this is where you can find them, okay? So that's kind of useful. And then we can choose a template here and use it. Then we have the learn, and Microsoft's done such a great job with documentation over the last couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And we can see here, this is like a really cool way of just learning how to use the Power Pages. And we could see like one thing I really like here is the training videos. I guess being a YouTube guy myself, I like to learn things by videos sometimes, and so they've done some good videos here on how to do some stuff, right? How to design your homepage, the branding around your site, and branding always comes up when you're building websites and portals. Your customer is always wanting to have the corporate colors of the site, the logo, the font. And with Power Apps portals, I don't know if there was really like a focus on that. It was the portals came with such great functionality, but some of the simple stuff was kind of simple to do, but could have been a little bit easier maybe. And I think there's a bit more of a focus on the brand component with Pages. So setting up your brand kit, that's a video there. We have creating a page with a list, something that's pretty straightforward. Configuring table permissions so that your users the right users can see the right data. We have creating a page with a simple form, right? So basic site functionality. And then we have configuring access to your site. So basically the different authentication methods that you decide to open up for your site. That's where this comes into play. And back on the home page, while this is still running, there's some other things we can take a look at here. So this is kind of cool as well. Suggested next steps. So there's kind of some intelligence going on here that's basically saying you've created a page, right? And what do you want to do? Or what's something that you probably should be doing next? And we can see here it's basically saying set up your sign-in page, add a simple form, right? So very basic website type functionality that you would add as you create a site. So if we click on set up your sign-in page, it takes us over to the documentation, and it basically gives us a little snapshot of what you should be doing to configure authentication, right? So with portals, and as we'll see with pages, we have the various different types of authentication that is supported. You have local authentication, you have Azure AD, and you have a whole bunch of other types of authentication. And so this is basically saying, you'll want to start thinking about that now, because you'll have users coming to your site, and do you want them to be logging in, or is it just anonymous users? Now's the time to think about that stuff. So that's what that does. And then we have here add a simple form, and then you click here, and again it takes you over to the documentation, and it goes through the process of basically adding a form to your site. So if we go back over here, in this top one here, we have invite others to your website. So let's just go click on that one, and this is basically going to the portal management app. and then you can go and do some configuration there. And the portal management app is basically the same app that you use to in Power Apps portals. Okay, and let's go back over to the preview here, and then it says customize theme, and if we click on this one, style your pages site. So we'll get to this very soon, but basically this is the different themes that you can apply, and then resetting themes, theme mappings, things like that. So really nice stuff here. And let's just take a look at these, what each of these buttons are on each of these pages here. So the edit is going to take us into the designer here. So basically, yeah, clicking into the edit button takes us all the way into the designer. I'm just going to go click back here, and we'll get back to that one in more detail shortly. The preview here is when you click on this, you get the option to preview the site on desktop, or you can scan in this on your mobile device and it can open up the site that way, right? So if I click on the desktop here, it takes me to the site itself, right? And like I said, if you open up your mobile phone, open up the camera, scan in the QR code here, it's going to take you over to that same URL as if that we saw on the desktop, right? So that's the two easy ways there, and then also you have this email me a preview link, and that way you can open the same website that way. Okay, so that's the preview there. It's kind of nice how they make it very easy to look at these sites in different mobile and desktop applications. And then finally, the three dots here, if you click on this, so we have share. So if I click on share, we have the link here, just an easy way to be able to copy the link and send it to somebody. We have manage and we have delete. If we click manage, then we'll see it takes us over here to the older Power Apps Portals admin center, right? So basically, if we go back over to back over here and we looked at one of our older sites, so here we have these different settings that we would go to, and we have the authentication, the admin, and the site settings. And if you went to administration, it would basically open up the admin center this way. So that's the same way now that we're doing it through here. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a little comparison here of Site 1 and one of the older sites. So let me see. This one I'm going to just bring over here next to this other Pages tab. And let's just do a little comparison, right? So I'm going to go and click on Edit here. And this is going to open up in the Designer portal. And here we have it. And remember, I'm using that default template for this page, right? So let's go do the same thing over here. I'm going to click Edit. And this is going to take me into the Power Apps Designer portal, the Power Apps Portals Designer portal. And let's start to take a look at some of these differences, right? So over here, you can see what they've done is they've put some icons here on each of these tabs, and it's a little bit more intuitive, right? So we have pages, styling, data, and setup. And if we just hop back over here, we have this one's pages and navigation, right? If I click on this, we see the pages here, and that's kind of like what we're looking at here, right? So here are the sub pages for this one. Here are the sub pages. This all looks pretty similar, just a little bit different there. And then we have some other pages for this template. If I click on styling here, let's take a look. So this is really where it kind of opens up a little bit. If I go back over here, and so basically components, we're going to come back to because that's been pulled into the pages. We'll see that in a sec. But if I go here to themes, right? So here, these themes in the old Power Apps portals is basically this styling section with themes. And, let's say I clicked on one of these themes here, right? So if I click on this bright blue theme, we'll watch the page actually take on that theme. And then here we have the color palette, right? So this is nice. And then we can go and play around with this here. So you can change these colors here and then save the changes, discard changes. You have your fonts here. You have, your headings, and you have your buttons and links, right? And these sections. So that's all really cool. Over here in the old way of doing things, it's just very basic, right? I'm clicking on this and it just goes and applies it, and uh, not much I can really do with these colors here. So it's just kind of applying it to that page, right? So they've really opened it up in this area here. I'm just going to click discard here, and then let's go and try. You can see there's so many of these, right? If I went with a dark yellow theme here, one click and I get to apply it here, and then I can always change the palette, right? So that's cool what they've done with the styling. And one of the interesting things over here in the top right, we have the if I just hover over this, it says editing in tablet view coming soon, and then here we have editing in mobile is coming soon as well, right? So that would be really nice just to be able to click on that and on the fly see these changes, see what it looks like when you're actually building it in these other applications, right? So that's all really nice. Now let's look at you know what I'm going to show. Let's go back over to pages here, and I'm just going to take a look at these pages. So we see here the if I scroll down a little bit, might be a bit easier to see. So here we have these little plus signs appearing over these sections here, right? So if I click on one of these plus signs, and let's scroll up a little bit and do that again. So we have these properties here for this section. So we have the background. We can play around with the background here. We have the layout. This is where it's deciding how you want this particular section laid out. We have over here the alignment, horizontal and vertical alignment. And it's funny because people kind of think of the people have commented Power Pages are maybe it's a little bit of a play on the old front page, right? And so if you were using Microsoft Front Page from many years ago, this is kind of what the development was like. You were given this kind of an application where you could build out your pages, and you would you'd have these very similar type of controls, and you'd be able to style your pages and build it out that way. So it's kind of interesting they chose that name. I don't know if there was any direct linkage there or just a coincidence, but there is a bit of front page that seems to be coming up into play here. So this one here, the settings, if I click on this, so we have the section height, column margin, column padding, column spacing. So very typical stuff for web development. And if I click on the three dots here, we can move this up and down. We can duplicate sections and delete them, right? So that's really nice. And if I go back here and click on this plus sign here, you can see here that I can add a section very easily. You see, and I can add a spacer, and I can just add this very simply. So if I wanted to add a 2-column section here, I could just go and do that, and then I'd be able to add these components in here, right? So very easily I can add components into each of the sections, and then now I'm building out these pages really easily, right? And if we go back over to the old Power Apps portal here, it's a little bit different, right? So we have these sections, and then, but over here I would come in, and then I'm going to add the 2-section layout, right? And then it's like, okay, what do I want to do now, right? Okay, now I want to maybe add something in here, right? So this is where maybe it's a little bit more intuitive with the new Power Pages way. It seems to be that way on the surface, and so I think people will get used to developing in this new style. So let's go back over here now, and let's go to data, and this is a big one. And if I go back over to the Power Apps portals one here, we're going to see that there's actually nothing that's really specific to data. Like we have table permissions, and that's about as close as you can get. But back over here, they've kind of brought in the data directly into the designer, right? So for this particular template, the feedback table is already in there. But let's say you wanted to use accounts, right? So if I click on accounts here from the Dataverse, look at this. It's pulling in actual accounts into the page, so I can actually see the data, and then I can use this to design my page, right? So here it says 154 more here, and then you can basically add some more fields in that you want to show. And so you can, see all of this here, and then you can add a new row, right? So, I can actually go in here and add a new row, right? Which is really cool. And then, looks like I pressed that one twice. Let's get rid of that one. And then I can add a new column as well. Okay. And look at this. It's allowing me to actually add a new column in here with some formatting, the data type, some various different things here. And I can edit the table properties as well. So if I click on this, some basic properties is being displayed here. I can edit those. And then we have the views over here. And, views are important in the portal world or the pages world because that's very often what you'll display to users if you want to show them lists or data. And then we have the forms here as well. So all of this is brought now into the designer. We can see here that the, for the account here, we have these forms available. Let me go ahead and just select the account form and take a look at it. And we're going to see this loading here. And, take a look at this. This is the Power Platform form, the Dataverse form that we're seeing, right? If we went into the make.powerapps.com maker, previously what we're doing with portals is we would go in there and create these model-driven app forms, and then we would be able to use them in the Power Apps portals. And now it's right within this Pages functionality, right? The Pages designers here, and we can just use it like this. So, we can move some fields around, and we can add components. There are our components there. We can add fields, and then we, look at this, right? We're saving and we're publishing the form, and then you can go off and preview and synchronize it and use it, right? So this is all built right in, and I think that's, let's click leave here. That's so much more intuitive when it comes to building out these experiences. So, if you're someone who's not that technical and you don't want to go through a steep learning curve, even if you are technical, rather than going to so many different places to make one thing happen, like show data on a page, right? Instead of having to go to the Power Portal, to the portal's management application and do some things, and then going to the designer to do other things, and then trying to figure out how to make that work on the page. The whole experience is, or at least like a lot more of the experience is now done through the designer in Pages. Okay, so that's the data tab. I think that's a really big one. Let's go to setup here, take a look. And so setup is interesting. Look at, identity providers, right? So previously, you would basically go, let's go back over here. Let's just jump out of here for a second and we'll take a look. So previously you'd go over here, and then you go to your site over here, and then you would click settings, and then you would click authentication settings, and that would take you to your identity providers, and then here is where you would go ahead and configure those, right? So that used to be over there, but now we can see them all basically surfaced here, and you can just go and manage them directly from the designer, right? So that's pretty nice. Table permissions. I'm just going to go back here now. Let's go back over to the studio. We'll see where this was. So back over to Contoso, and we will edit again. And yeah, table permissions, very important, of course. You only want users of the portal, so whether they are anonymous or authenticated, to be able to see the data that they're meant to be able to see. And over here is the table permissions the old way. So that would surface like this. And then the new way is it's just kind of, it's kind of a little bit of a different area. But similar concept, right? You can just go and create it that way. That looks pretty much the same. Progressive web app, so that's over here. And then previously, if I went down over here, it would be over on this side. Doesn't look like a big change right there. And then administration. Site details. So if I click on site details, it says site details are coming soon. we're working to create an easy-to-use experience so you can get set up and manage your site details. Go to the admin center, right? So let's click on this, and I think we all know where this is going to take us. So this takes us over to the admin center over here. So maybe this one's going to be deprecated and moved in, right? Let's see. So it'd be nice to just, that definitely is an outdated type of a looking interface. So it'd be nice to have all of that in there. And if we go to admin settings, the same deal here, right? Same admin center. And then finally over here, there's just a couple of quick links to get to Flow and to the portal management, right? So Flow just opens up Power Automate. Pretty basic. Doesn't really seem to do a lot more than that, but just kind of makes it easy to get to. And then if we go to portal management, we're going to see something similar. It's going to open up the portal management app, and it opens it up to the site. And you can see here, if I clicked on websites for this particular org that I'm in, there's side by side here. We have the old website using the Power Apps portals, and then we have the new website using the Power Pages, right? So they're just sitting right next to each other in the configuration here. So yeah, they have obviously they share a lot of the same underlying configuration. And finally, let's just take a look at some of the pro dev stuff that's in here. So I'm on the docs page again, and if we go over to the down here, it says customize and extend Power Pages, and it says use Visual Studio Code and the Microsoft Cloud Platform CLI, right? And here it says basically go here to use the Power Platform CLI with portals. And if I click on this link here, this gives us basically the details to go off and install the Power Platform CLI. And then you can go and do some things with this, right? Here we're getting a list of portals, downloading portal content, and changing portal content. Basically all these things that you can do through the CLI, that's available here. So definitely could be interesting. Lots of Visual Studio Code tie-in. We have some YAML stuff going on here. So some interesting stuff for deployments, and so that's definitely some stuff to look at. There's a Visual Studio Code extension for portals here that it talks about, and then you can basically do some similar things here and develop in that fashion. Then we have a lot of the older stuff that we're familiar with, so Liquid templates. So if you're building code in Liquid, then a whole bunch of stuff here. The Portals Web API, right? So you're going to be familiar with that. Same deal, configuration of the Web API, right? All of that good stuff. And then code components here. So basically using code components inside your pages. And we can see here it says Power Apps Portals now supports controls for model-driven apps created using Power Apps Component Framework, right? So some stuff in there. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's great how they do it, right? They give a lot of stuff for the low-code audience, and when you get to that point where the low code needs, you've pushed it as far as it can, and your client needs some more specific customizations, and then you can turn to pro code very easily, and the toolkits are there, and Microsoft's done a great job of providing all the resources for developers to be able to take over at that point and make more customized solutions, right? So next steps for everybody really is to come in here and sign up for a trial. And that's going to be done over here on the sign up for a trial page. Just head over to powerpages.microsoft.com and get started, and then play around with this and see if it's going to be useful for your business and your clients. Hope you enjoyed.
So that's it, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course check out my blog at carldesouza.com. Thank you.